Morning YouTube. Well, on the morning of Boris's announcement that we are hopefully finally coming out of lockdown, I thought I'd do a little YouTube video because I'm sure we're about to get on our bikes fairly soon, hopefully. And this time I've got a few trips planned away with my brother and a couple of the lads, going up to Wales and on a trip up to Scotland to do part of the North Coast 500. But it's a little bit more than that, so I'm not going to call it a North Coast 500 trip, albeit I have done that before. But what I wanted to do is capture the moments. So I've been looking at various camera options, and one of the challenges that I've got with my particular helmet is that I use a modular helmet, which is the SHOEI Neotec II. So camera mounting options as far as around the front are a little bit limited if you have any intention of recording whilst you've got the lid up. So it may not be for everybody, but when I've been through the Brackens and I've been up through the Highlands, especially some of the more scenic areas, you're not riding particularly fast. And for me, I like the lid up. I like to feel the air. But of course, if I've got a camera mounted here, I'll be shooting the sky all the time. So we are pretty limited for people with modular helmets as far as what you can do to try and get that classic angle of the camera being effectively in front of you, front and center. Now, you can, like I say, you can mount something here that presents the camera at the front and center. But for the rest of us that want to, well, for me specifically, that want to ride with the lid up, I've had to try and construct a bit of a Heath Robinson affair to try and get the camera in the best angle as possible. So it's not going to be front and central, but it's pretty much as good as I can get. And obviously one of the biggest challenges that we've got is trying to get the audio right. So I've tried a number of different things. Last year I bought a Ghost XL Drift. Loved the idea of this camera, even though I knew it wasn't image stabilized. It was only 1080p. Actually, no, it's 4K. No, it is 1080p, I think. It's pretty simple, bolts on, nice and narrow, nice and discreet, and it did have a microphone option. There's a little, if I show it on the other camera there, that's it there, if you can see that little screw, hopefully. That little screw, you unplug it and you can screw in with that thread on that mic adapter. You can screw that into here and it gives you that sort of quite nice mic adapter, which you can plug in a lav mic or whatever. The only thing that I found with this is a proprietary cable. This is a proprietary cable that has a thread on here, which is great in principle, but that is it. That's a proprietary cable. Now, one of the things that happens is the camera is mounted on the side of your helmet, and that is dangling here. Then that cable bends, and it's quite weak at its join area. I don't know if you can see that, but that is just a sort of crimped, not very well protected join. And over a year, that has actually frayed some of the wires, and it gives a lot of distortion, lots of breakup. So, you know, I'm not going to have a go at Drift because I think their products are great, but this particular cable is a bit of a meh, and they can't get me a replacement. They've tried for 6 months, can't get me a replacement unless I buy a whole new kit. So that is a bit of a flaw. So I'm parking that. I'm moving on to, I've toured around with GoPros and I love them, think they're great. I haven't messed around or haven't had a chance to trial the new GoPro Hero 9. So this setup is not based on any of my knowledge with that GoPro Hero 9. The GoPro Hero 5, 6, 7, from what I can understand, the media adapter is quite a bit, so you can obviously plug in a microphone, lav mic. It's quite a big chunky add-on. It's a brick that sort of sits, I've seen various sort of rig ups and so on, which is, I'm sure it's fine for some people, not great for me. So I know the DJI product range. I've had a number of drones, so I like their products, I like their interfaces and so on. And I've used this DJI OSMO Action quite a few times, nothing to do with the bike, but I've used it quite a few times. I think it's really good quality, image stabilization is great. And from this particular point, the add-on of a mic interface is much slicker than the GoPro, or the current GoPros that I know up to 8, not the 9. So I think there's been some improvements, but don't quote me on that. So there is the camera. I'm sure you're familiar with it. What you may not be familiar with it is this third party. This is from Cynova, C-Y-N-O-V-A, Cynova, which is an adapter that literally plugs in to the side. That's where the SD card is, and there is a USB-C interface there. So you literally take that off, and then take it off, and then you plug in. Whoops, wrong way around. You plug in. No, that was the right way around. You plug in your adapter. So that's it, nice and slick. Yeah, doesn't protrude very far. And then on the back, you have a 3.5mm jack, of which any lav mic, you can just plug that in. It also has a USB-C interface on the back. Yeah, so a USB-C interface, and obviously you can charge it as well. So the couple of tests that I'm going to do is, I've got this rig up. I will test it out just to see how long this lasts in 4K 30 using that particular setup. So that's the camera. What I've then had to do is work out how I'm going to mount it. I'll just bring the helmet back in. How I'm going to mount it onto the helmet. So this is a bit of a, I don't know if you can see that, but that is a bit of a jury rig job. So I've got various GoPro mounts. That's the part that obviously plugs onto the side of the helmet. And I've mounted this here. This is a bit of trial and error. If you're going to do it yourself, it's a bit of trial and error before you actually make that final sort of committed location. So standard GoPro mount, snap in, and this arm. So I've bought this arm off of eBay. There's a number of different lengths and sizes. So this is the mid-range one. You get one that's a little bit shorter, and then you got one that's a lot larger. Now my original thought was to try and get this mounted on here, so it brings the camera right the way round. So it's literally at the the ideal location at the front here. And I did set it up like that, but this is quite a heavy object, and of course the longer that arm, the more bounce you're going to get, and the more stress and load you're going to get on the mounting plate here. And the idea is, like I say, that I want this completely free of any other support so that I can ride with the lid up and so on. So this is a compromise. It's not the ideal solution for any videographers and so on there that want to do a similar setup, but it's the best compromise that I found so far of getting a good location with the audio connection into the helmet, yeah, it just feels like the best compromise. So what I've got is that arm with a number of 90-degree bends here that have all been marked out so that I can slot it straight on without any adjustment. The angle is absolutely perfect for riding in the normal way. I've also got an audio mic cable extender that is, at the minute, it's just got insulation tape just to hold it in place before I make this permanent. And the idea is that the microphone, which is actually this microphone that I'm going to fit back in, I've been doing a little bit of testing. This is a Rode lav mic. It's reasonably expensive, but it's really good quality. It's much better than this mic I've got here, which is actually the Drift Ghost microphone that I bought with this kit. So it's great for, sort of just around here static, but on the bike, obviously I'm going to get a lot of wind noise, and that's what I'm going to test. I need something with a good integrated dead cap. So I've tried this before at speed, and it has been surprisingly good. So the proof will be in the pudding when I test it out later. So the bit that I need to do is, for the microphone, I'm going to route it all the way through. I won't bore you with all that now, but I'm going to route it through so that it pops up and it's on the opposite side to the boom mic on the Neotec. And effectively this cable will pop out the side, and I can tuck it in under, if you can see that, I can tuck it in under the flap here when it's not in use. But effectively it'd be on the side here, so that when the camera is all mounted, I can then just plug, well, you can see that, plug this into here, mounted on, and away I go. Not a great faff to sort of unplug and plug, because obviously I need to change the batteries on this, take it off and so on. So that's the idea behind it. And so I will just put this all together now and mount it all so you can see what it looks like. Mount the camera in, slide the secure door on the back. The connector just plugs in on the side there. Then the important thing is to put this mic extension cable into the side here, and that's it. That's now the microphone all connected, or the audio cable all connected. And literally all I have to do now is mount the helmet, mount the camera on the side, and then plug in, it says, plug in the audio cable. And that's it, I'm ready to go. So it's going to sit on the side there. The idea is that I've measured it and the angles are just right so that the camera is completely free of the helmet going up and down. So you can probably see it is wobbling around a bit as I push it, but the image stabilization on this camera is so good that obviously you won't see any of that. So the key thing is I can use it whilst I'm riding along in my sort of normal position. I can carry on once the helmet is up, and you know, I'm videoing as normal. So that is the theory. We know what theories can do. They can always go badly wrong, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and test it, just see what it's like, and then I'll report back, maybe show you a bit of footage and just see if this theory works. If it does, I will publish this video. If it doesn't, I will think again. But that's it for now.